Hey, hey. I need to start looking in the mirror before I go live because I'm greasy. Just let your soul glow. Fuck it. So, I am still currently reviewing the 13 Ghosts movie, right? But I've been actually wanting to do this breakdown on the movie A Quiet Place too. And I really love moving visuals. And what it is that I can pull out of them, right? But it's more about, I guess, my experience around the movie and not just the movie itself. The day before I went to see the movie, I was having a conversation with somebody who was slightly in fear because of a child being close to other foster children, right? Because at times, yes, this can be a complicated thing, right? But what I told them was that somebody has got to be willing to do the thing that nobody wants to do. And somebody's got to be willing to say the things that nobody's willing to say. And, you know what I'm saying? The conversation kind of went personal. And I was like, yeah, we always tend to do that too. We always talking to people who are still here like they're dead. Like we even know everything that they're going to accomplish, you know what I'm saying, in their life. Like, just chill. Because sometimes it's the same things that we think that we don't like in a person. That's what's needed, right? Um, can you imagine if no one ever went against the grain? You know what I'm saying? So when I went in the movie, right? It's funny because the older daughter, she is a character, right? She's deaf. So in the first movie, I just remember, she's growing up. She's going through the emotions of her puberty, of everything else, and she's kind of very rebellious, right? And it's not until like the very end of the movie that she really, really even digs in and truly understands like her father's care for her and everything, right? So in the beginning of the second part of A Quiet Place 2, they flash back to the first day. Hey. They flash back to the first day when the aliens dropped, like a mixtape. Boom, right? And she's in the truck and she's watching everything happen. And all of a sudden she just gets out the truck and just starts like hitting it in another direction. And her dad's got to run after her. And I remember in the movie, like, yo, with the whole group, I'm like, yo, I don't like this little girl. She always doing some shit, right? I said that because, of course, I'm watching it from a parent's perspective. I have children. And, of course, I'm feeling the energy of it, of the parent chasing this child because they want to protect them so much, right? By the end of the movie, not only would she be my favorite character of the movie, but at this point in time, she is one of my favorite characters. And it's one that I think of and pull mental strength from a lot of the times when I'm required or just interested even, right? To be the energy that is myself that just seems so, of course, non-conformed, right? By the end of this movie, you see that it is the generation before them who have tried to protect so much and control that they were the ones that had to learn. Allow these children, allow them to get up and chase what it is, because they are not just trying to protect themselves, but they are also coming up with a plan in order to protect everyone. And it was just really deep, you know what I'm saying? And of course everybody's kind of laughing at me because by the time I'm coming out the movie, everybody's like, that was a cool scary movie, and I'm like boo crying because it's so deep for me, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, yo, like, it's funny because of course my nature has always been what would be considered and what was called a rebellious one, right? And of course, coming up as a child, you hear that a lot. And it's like, I felt like for a point in time, the same way I felt about this character, this young girl who I was like, yo, I don't like this little girl. She always doing something. I felt like maybe at one point in time, maybe that's how I even adopted and felt about myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I was constantly outside of the lines that people wanted me to play in. But it's going to take somebody to do the things that nobody wants to do. And it's going to take somebody to say the things that a lot of people aren't willing to say. And that would fall under, actually, in this world's matrix, it would fall under what would we call rebelliousness. Okay? So sometimes when we're looking at a person and they're rebellious, just because they're not inside the sphere of how we want to control them, sometimes we need to take a step back and consider, why are they that way? And what is it that they are prepping or having that energy for to do? Because we don't know. You're peepholing it. You know what I'm saying? And take a step back and see the bigger picture. Because again, that little girl, she saw these things kill her father. She watched them tear him apart. So later on in the second movie, when she has this idea to take the contraption that they have and not just use it against them one by one, but to broadcast this through a huge system and therefore help so many people simultaneously, it's scary. It's scary. She's got to go back out in there. And remember, she's deaf. These things move by sound. If she knocks something over and back of her, she doesn't even know. She doesn't even know. You know what I'm saying? She's just walking. So it's going to take somebody, right? Whereas the man in the movie, he had found a safe spot, and that's where he was happy to stay. He also needed something to fight for, a divine feminine. This movie was much deeper than, where'd that come from? Oh,
it just happened.
But I'm gonna say hi.
Hi.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
So, but it is, right? Close the door, please. It's going to take someone, right? And it's in spite of the fear. It's not without any fear. You know what I'm saying? We don't ever hear a story that's like Jillian Brown was born, everything was perfect, she had a silver spoon in her mouth, and she grew up and her life was perfect and died. We don't identify with that story. You know what I'm saying? It's the things that we accomplish in spite of what is going on that makes it an amazing story in the first place. So when I saw that and I realized that I'd just been speaking about the same thing the day before and then had it mirrored to me in a movie, watching a characteristic that I thought on one instance wasn't what was needed and wasn't attractive, you know what I'm saying, and wasn't in line with what needed to be in line, turn around by the end of the movie and show me that that is the same characteristic that was needed and that was super attractive and that saved the day. So if you've ever been called rebellious, if you've ever colored outside the lines and you don't fit in with the way this world is, understand why. Really begin to question that. Really begin to question that, because it takes such a level of boldness to truly walk in your own skin. It takes such a level of rebelliousness, right? To be like, fuck that. This is my truth and I'm going to be in it. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? But watch that movie if you feel led to. But it was dope. It was dope, like, to see it. You know what I'm saying? To see the evolution of her character through the movie, and to see, again, even how conditional I was viewing the character. And I say this all the time, like, I always ask for the openness of mind to see where I'm being conditional at, because this is where we truly learn about ourselves. And I always use the example of traffic, right? When we're in traffic and we cut somebody off, it's usually because, oh my God, my exit was right there. I can't miss his exit. I'm late. I'm sorry. Throw his hand up, right? Somebody else cuts us off. We'd be like, look at this asshole. So when we did it, it was our circumstance. But when they did it, it's their personality. Do you see how we do that? Do you see how we allow our mirror neurons to flip and tell us stories? You know what I'm saying? So that character, she showed me how conditional I was. And I was grateful for it. And that character also showed me that, again, a lot of the things that we think aren't what's needed are. So take a step back sometimes. You know what I'm saying? If you know someone that is, I mean, of course, this is going to be based on, individual things. But sometimes when you see somebody that colors out the lines, maybe they're not the problem. Maybe wanting to control them. Maybe the lines are the problem. Okay? Love you guys. Peace.